I used to masturbate to Supreme Patty. Anyways. Perfect.
No beers?
Good cold open. No, I said it. I posted in chat. I said, no more beers.
It's BYOB.
I said, bring your own beers. And everyone's like, okay.
Well, I thought that was the whole reason with the budget cost.
No, the budget is now paying off the fucking mixer. And then I said BYOB. And the rest of the money is just going to me for fucking editing everything.
Okay, that's fair.
But there are beers upstairs. There's a Cowbell IPA if you want to grab one.
The Hazy Days?
Hazy Days.
That's a winner.
In his eyes when he heard no beer.
No bitches? No beers? Maidenless. If you're tuning in right now, I haven't edited this part out because A, I'm lazy. B, you never know what's going to happen in the moments behind the scenes.
Fine, it's all au natural.
Au natural.
Like these days.
Yeah.
They want to see us naked.
Okay, let's get some silence.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it. I should have held it.
Welcome back to episode 28 of the Shitpost HQ podcast. It's me, Al Horford III, joined by
Don Dillion.
Jason Tatum.
Schmitty Jagerman Jensen.
he was number one,
Holy shit.
if I recall.
He was
I didn't see
number
him hit the
one.
vape and I just saw smoke coming out of his mouth.
Who's thinking?
What is wrong with him?
He was thinking of a name. Schmitty Warben Yangerman Jensen.
Whoa, where'd you sneak that fucker from?
What was that little
There's always a beer for me.
cow?
I was gonna say-
Cheers to the only other man
can
who
hold it.
brought a beer.
Yeah, I figured that Marcus only drinks water. And Zach doesn't drink. I'm kidding. Should I got you a beer? I
That
wasn't
is
sure.
a nitro stout.
I got more.
He actually had water. I didn't know. I didn't know he actually had what?
Of course he's got water.
Yeah, but what? I made a joke and it hit.
Clink.
Yo, I actually manifested that. Like, you know
Insane.
what I mean? Like,
You really can manifest anything you want.
there's another universe where that, literally in that 3 seconds, there's a different universe where you didn't have water.
So at least that gave me a thought that can segue into the first topic of the day. So you guys just clanged water, and in European culture, if you cheers to water, that's like bad luck. You're always supposed to have a drink to cheers, and if you do it otherwise, the devil will come in and steal your fortune in the middle of the night. So, were there any superstitions that your parents had that like you believed up to an unreasonable age? What were they? Why did you do it? Why were you stupid? Why are you less stupid now?
Okay, so there was this, from a young age, I learned that from the start of the year to the end of the year, you had to be a completely good person. Otherwise, this fat man from the North Pole wouldn't give you any presents, and his name was Santa Claus. And in grade 3, Patrick told me that he didn't exist, and I thought it was some fucking bullshit that they were lying this whole time.
Grade 3?
Yeah.
You got as far as grade 3.
I got as far as grade 3.
Did I break this? Did I break the magic to you?
You
I'm
broke
an
the magic.
Asshole.
Just
Okay.
like you
Did
did
you-
my hymen.
Let's
Did
roll.
you go home and just like sit there and just stare and go, I can't believe this? Then you ask your mom and she's like, of course he's real. Don't listen to Patrick. He's European. They have a different Santa Claus over there.
Yeah,
he's
they
not
have,
real.
What's his name? Krampus.
So wait, roll back.
Sinterklaas.
Just because I'm curious. So when did how old is everybody when they figured out Santa wasn't real?
Definitely before grade 3.
I think
7.
like before I left Romania. So that would have been like kindergarten. I knew he wasn't real.
I think it was just when I was in grade 1.
Really?
Yeah, grade 1.
Do you remember like as like a crippling shattering of your reality or just like a faded memory?
No, you're just like a faded memory. I think it was one of those things where like it was the earliest point where I could like think about logic. I'm like, yeah, everything makes sense.
Yeah, that's
I don't
what
have a
makes
chimney at my house. It makes total sense. Like, and then I remember thinking like being told like there's billions of people in this world, and I was like couldn't even barely comprehend the concept of billion.
That's like
but I even
more
thought-
than 7.
Yeah, but I could think like, oh, like how does he make it to everybody's house, like in the world?
And what was the answer? It's magic. And I'm
It's
like,
magic.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
of
sense.
course. Oh, how did I not think
Obviously.
about that?
Yeah, my parents couldn't afford these presents. Are you fucking high?
I mean, mac and cheese every day. What about you?
I was just going to say, I don't know what age, but yeah, it was young and it just kind of clicked. It was like, Yeah, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, maybe that's like the true point of consciousness when we realized
That nothing is real.
yeah, it's like there was living, and then there was Santa Claus and consciousness. That's when everything clicked in and memory started hitting. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? Or
Absolutely, yeah. That's
Okay.
when you're like, you be reborn. Ugh.
Yeah.
So what other like superstitions do you have? Because I have a couple. I'm sure you had some weird Portuguese. I know you got some weird ones.
No, you go. Let me think.
Think. I had, so the one, my parents still do this to this day. So on New Year's, they like always tell me to wear a bit of red. I don't know, it brings you good luck in the future, so I fucking do it. Even though I don't believe it, it's just like if they say something, okay, I'll wear red. So I do it.
I got a good one.
Let's hear it.
They always said if they ever tell me they're proud of me, I'll die immediately.
That was a good
So
one.
we always avoided that one, you know.
So to this day,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going strong. I'm not, you know what? In fact, I
Still
might
alive,
never
still
die.
alive, still alive.
I might never
Still
die.
alive. Yeah.
That was one. And then like obviously the draft, I think I've already talked about it once, but every European knows about the draft. If you fucking are going to bed with a fan on you, that'll fucking kill you.
I
Instant fan death.
don't think that's superstitious. I think that's just like
Well, there's like old
fan?
wives' tales and superstitions.
Fake
Yeah,
fan?
you never heard of fan death?
fake health logic.
If you go to bed with a fan on you, you will die in your sleep.
That sounds like a old European
Yeah.
lady's way of saving some money and not running
Yeah,
the fan at
yeah,
night.
yeah, absolutely.
That's what it was. It was
Um,
tricking kids into thinking like how to save fucking
Saving money and being
Dude,
safe.
The
Yeah.
one thing I saw
yeah,
on,
being safe too.
And sleeping early.
Like you have to like what was it? I think my parents used to say 3 hours. You couldn't go into the water after 3 hours of eating.
yeah.
Like, what
just so
kinda-
you don't get
what-
wet and annoying.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. It was just right and annoying.
I think the one that like stuck with me for a while because I just didn't question it was my mom always said, because you know all my parents were smokers, so whenever we went out to a restaurant or whatever, and back in Romania you could smoke anywhere, so there was always lighters around. And as a kid, I loved playing with lighters. And the way to get me to stop fucking around with lighters was they told me that if you play with fire, you'll pee your pants. Immediately, when I heard that, I was like, well, I don't want to fucking pee my pants. And like, it was funny because then I'd like forget about it, and then I started playing with the lighter again, and then my mom would be like, pee your pants. I'm like, whoa, I don't want to pee my pants. What the fuck? And then, so that was one that I believed for a good while. And then there's a fuck
This guy's
ton.
chirping me for not believing in Santa Claus, and this guy thinks he's gonna piss it. He's like in 7th grade. He's like, actually,
Like grade 8.
Guys,
Yeah.
just be very careful with
Not
that
gonna piss my
fire.
pants.
Grade 8. Don't touch that later, man. I'm gonna piss myself.
Yeah, like the essence of our being right now is based on that.
That's
fucking
why.
resource.
That's why you've never had a full cigarette, or because you
I
can't.
don't want to pee my pants.
You never liked cigarettes or joints. You're like, makes sense. This guy never wanted to touch a lighter.
Yeah, piss his pants in the middle of nowhere. Yeah,
Sometimes
right.
when he was feeling badass, he'd be like, "Joke's on you, mom. I'm gonna pee my pants on purpose."
I'm gonna piss. Jokes on you, Mom. I've already pissed my pants, and I've pissed your bed too.
I've already paid the toll.
I've already paid it.
Give me
so
the lighter.
give me- Look her dead in the eyes. I have nothing to fear anymore. There's one more that I'm forgetting now, but it was. I'm sure
wet,
equally
wet
as.
back of the head.
Oh yeah, wet hair.
But that one's got to
Yeah.
be true.
No, it's not. What do
Absolutely
you
not.
think? Bacteria is gonna fucking stick to you more?
No, it's
'cause
like
your
you're
hair's
gonna catch
wet?
a cold, not bacteria.
Yeah, but you're not gonna catch a
Yeah,
cold
but
if your
you're
hair's
not.
wet.
It
It's
is.
impossible.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
bacteria.
virus.
It's bacteria. It's a virus.
Not gonna
Yeah, but
stick
you
to
can.
you more.
It's the same with the wearing the socks shit.
It's not
Yeah.
to do that like you're gonna catch the bacteria. It's like your immune system will be diminished, and then you will.
So you're telling me you still believe it?
No, I'm telling you, I don't like to go outside the house with a wet head.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't
I
like
would
to, but
literally
it's
never not dry my hair.
I don't do it because it's fucking whack and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
But I don't
exactly.
do it because I think I'll get a cold.
All right,
but,
probably true,
But
yeah.
but I think I googled it once and there was like some semblance of truth. But the one good one that I saw, it was I think I saw it on a Reddit or something, and it was something along the lines of this kid's parents told him that if the ice cream truck is playing music, that means they're out of ice cream. I'm like, that's fucking genius.
That's a good one.
That is fucking genius.
It means don't come.
Yeah, it means fuck off. Don't bother me. I'm not giving you money. So okay, when you were growing up, did you ever have to like do a parent swap? Like who was your weaker parent? Because for me, it was always like I had to like gauge their mood. Like, oh, I want a fucking new DS game. Dad's in a bad mood. He's had a long day at work. But mom's in a good mood. You go to mom, you finesse her, and then it's like, go ask your dad. You're like, no, I can't. He's too powerful today.
I feel like everybody went through that. You know,
Yeah.
ask mom, ask dad, like feel it out. Kind
Yeah.
of. For me, it was like going to hang out with people on like the weekends and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like can I go sleep over at my friend's? And it's like they have to think about driving you there and
That was
picking
the
you
biggest
up. Yeah.
convenience.
And it was like, especially after a long day, they're like, I'm not doing fucking anything else for you. You already live here and you don't pay anything. You eat all the food and we clean up after you. So absolutely not. You can sit in the fucking basement and shut your fucking mouth this weekend. And then mom's like, actually, you know, it'd be kind of nice without you here being loud all weekend. So yeah, mom, absolutely.
What about you?
Yeah, like mom was obviously the
Moms.
one you go to.
You gotta love them.
But yeah, same thing with he said is like just getting rides was like the biggest like.
You also live in the middle of buttfuck
pain.
nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. We live in literally buttfuck nowhere. So any ride is like 20, 30 minutes to any buddy's house, any friend's house. So that was always the biggest thing. Like, oh fuck, like I can't hang out because I'm gonna have to ask my mom to pick me up, and she'll be like, fuck.
And what happened? They bred a completely independent Sigma male that is well-rounded. Good job, parents.
Well done. Look at all of us.
What an introvert.
Top Sigma males.
Yet a beauty.
We praised Andrew Tate every day. we pray to Andrew Tate.
We should do that.
Book a flight to
That's a
Bucharest.
good cold open. Is everyone is just bowing down. And there's a
Lord
Andrew
Tate. Lord Tate. Lord Tate.
His cloud is crazy now.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. He's
on 6buzz and shit. now.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's funny because I saw a clip where it was someone trying to expose his wealth, and they're like, he's doing a classic strategy where he's getting impressionable,
Yeah.
beta males to buy his course, and that's how he makes his money. I was like, this
Yes.
motherfucker had a Bugatti 2 years ago before all the clout. Like he got his money through like sketchy casinos in Bucharest and fucking cam girls. Like he's been doing it. He doesn't need this, but I'm sure it's nice. I'm sure his fucking Hustlers University.
I don't think there's any like negative to that. Everybody does it. They all do that.
Of course, everyone.
Anyone who has some remote amount of celebrity put out some fucking course and some schlubs.
you're
will
telling
pay
me the
for it.
same girls that are shitting on like beta males are not watching like the Kardashians and buying all their product at the exact same time?
You don't want Kylie Jenner's lip kit.
It's like they're literally buying their like highly overpriced products.
Yeah.
And just like absolutely getting absorbed by their culture, but then they're like, that's so double standard. But it's typical, right?
It's just the dichotomy of human beings. The dichotomy of man and woman.
I do have one question.
Yes.
And I know it's a little bit of a fall off your chair moment, especially for the viewers.
Who is Andrew Tate?
Pardon?
Who is Andrew Tate?
Well, no, I obviously don't know who Andrew Tate is, but that one's obvious. Here's an even more obvious one, and I want to hear a Webster's dictionary definition of this term. I don't want to hear some vague group collectivist version of this word. I want to know what is the pure definition of the word clout.
Okay, I can start it off. So it's just I don't know when
It
this
is just
word
what?
came into
No.
use.
I don't want to paraphrase. I want to
No,
know.
He's got it. He's got it.
Standard.
No, I'm giving you the history. I'm giving.
have
Don't Google it. Don't Google
I
it.
do want some backstory.
Let me say
He
it, and
wants
you can
to-
read the
he-
Google.
Well,
So, like from what I understand, I'm not sure if it was slang or if it was a traditional word that like has now gained usage. I
Right.
don't know that, but clout just means relevance, popularity. It's just a synonym for popularity, relevance, status, whatever. Fuck, I watch too much entertainment. Status. It means status in Bugattis. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, is he the kickboxer?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, no, I know who that guy is. He's fucking hilarious.
He's a fucking monster.
Well, you're wrong.
Clout is actually the term used to describe the layer of buildup of lipstick on one's ass from receiving too many kisses.
Okay, that's like the second definition, right?
That's the secondary, the Urban Dictionary definition.
Because
What
I
do you
just
got?
pictured clout goggles on here, you
Bruno's
go ahead.
worst nightmares coming to life. This is like when he was in English class in the 10th grade and now he has to read to the class and he can't read.
Too real for me. Too real for me.
Let's hear it, kid.
Well, the first one is they classify them as there's 3 informals. It's actually can be used in a noun or a verb, and there's an archaic version of it.
Okay.
So the first one is informal noun, a heavy blow with the hand or a hard object.
I'm going to clout you right in the goddamn face.
yeah, I'm gonna clutch you in the face. Then there's the influence or power, especially in politics or business. I knew he carried a lot of clout. And then again, they go with the verb with like hitting something, and then the archaic version is to mend a patch. He helps the woman clout their pants.
That sounds weird.
Well, see, but I'm super interested in the origination of words. I love that shit because it helps me understand and helps me expand my vocabulary. So in all of those senses, it is a coming together thing, right? You're mending something, and it's also you're being hit in the face with it. Like you literally can't avoid it. It's so popular.
Ah, that was deep.
It's like you can't not see it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. But also, is the word somewhat dying now?
Clout?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like the clout era was like a couple years ago now.
Like when people used to call clothes swag.
Oh my God, the swag era was.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, he has like the sickest swag.
Exactly.
Could you
though.
imagine saying that in public? Like, could you imagine saying that in a mall?
It's a perfect example, actually. Like, words get exhausted very quickly. It's like
Yeah.
the word epic was the word to use, and then all of a sudden it just became the like internet
cringe.
child version of saying anything was great. And then after you heard that's epic so much on Xbox 360 live stream, you're like, that is the dumbest fucking word, and if I ever get caught using that, just fucking shoot me in the head.
I'm gonna start using outdated slang just to piss you guys off.
Not even. I think you know what's funny. It's like post-ironic now. It's funny now.
Yeah, 'cause-
that's the thing. There's nothing you could say from our older days that's not like hilarious.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
outdated slang is actually cool now.
Well, of course. Like I even like think about how inappropriate it would be to say like no homo. But that was like super popular in 2009. But it's like now it's like you'll just do the most sexually suggestive shit to another man, and it's like it's just whatever. It's just
I
like
can't
that's always
suck a guy's dick and not say no homo.
yeah. What's the fucking
all
matter
good.
with you? Huh? Like there's just been so many like trends, and it's like that's like the one thing you realize as an adult, because when you're growing up, it's like you have this like weird peak era where you think you know. It's like every human being is learning, and then you get to like 16, 17, 18, you go, I think I know, and I know better than everyone else, and this is as good as it'll get. And then what you realize at like fucking 25 is that you're never gonna know shit. Everything you ever do in like 2 years is gonna be cringe. And it's gonna be a cycle of that garbage, and that's just life. And it's like you're never gonna know anything, and you're gonna be a fucking idiot, and you're gonna look back and go, why the fuck was I wearing those extra long Kanye t-shirts from H&M? Why the fuck was I doing that?
Well, you know what? Like, yes and no. I think it definitely accelerated when, everything got posted on the internet and it was right in your face. Like, it used to be a Polaroid or a Kodak disposable camera picture that only came out every so often. And it was like, oh, look at me back in the 80s. Let's put that away now and revert back to the current personality that is me, because that is me. Now it's like looking at your Instagram from fucking 5 years ago and going like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
I better delete that now. Meanwhile, all your friends have it.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like that on a larger scale becomes outdated very quickly.
Absolutely.
Now, now that it's currently just in our faces constantly.
It's fucked.
Can't wait till we're old and some sort of AI can put together like a whole like timeline of your life.
I
The
would-
evolution of photos and videos, and you just watch it.
That's what Facebook's gonna do.
Probably.
You can die on Facebook now, and then your whole timeline's there, because they have they have born, and then it goes down. I'm serious, and people can go in and put death, and then you have your whole life documented there for the metaverse to just steal from.
Facebook's gonna be like a life.
Put you in a
archive.
box and just advertise to other males like you.
Imagine they just grab your likeness and they just like create a new version of you.
Yeah.
Like you
It
become
keeps posting.
you become like say there is like a metaverse and they're like, oh, look at this person, John. Like let's just recreate.
died 15
let's
years
just
ago.
recreate his personality as like an NPC in our universe.
That's
Pe-
actually
people
like
are,
not
people are
that
gonna be able
far
to
from the
buy
possibility.
you your personality and make you post like propaganda on Facebook.
That's not that like what you said is actually like think about it. Like let's say
Think about it,
we
who's-
become successful and like now there's hours upon hours of our voices and our faces on the internet. Yeah, if we fucking die one day, eventually through deepfakes and shit, they could literally recreate this podcast and with our words make like a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that's how like decent technology has gone.
Isn't it terrifying though?
Have you seen?
Hi
Sorry.
kids, I didn't want you. You were a total accident.
I got really drunk in Venezuela that one time, and I'm sorry I haven't been there. But no, like the have you guys seen those tweet bots?
Yeah.
Like
They turn
there's
racist.
no, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen
Yeah, they
it.
turn like racist. They turn into like there's been a couple where they like made it into like a Nazi
I think I said that one.
Yeah, they made like it was like a cute little like Twitter bot or this like AI bot on Twitter, and then they like it was absorbing knowledge and like they kept feeding it like bad information, and then like after a couple hours it was like a fully racist Nazi.
You know what?
Yeah.
It is like an interesting tool to kind of identify micro groups, though.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, it spends enough time being just being witness to content posted by a little micro group, and it just pulls out these human traits and puts it in code for everyone who's just taking a look at that and being like, oh, okay, well, this group is fucked.
Yeah.
It puts you in a box. So really what the answer is don't use it. But it's like, unless, you know, you're completely happy with the fact that you're a walking, flaming...
Yeah, information bot.
Yeah.
Just feeding the fucking matrix. Oh, they're gonna. Look, you were getting ready to say something, but the fucking like there's two that I follow. There's a Blade bot, and there's a Too Mad bot, and like those tweets are genuinely so fucking indiscernible from the real one. Like it's unbelievable. Every time I follow those guys, I'm like, how the fuck, who like coded this? Like it's impressive how they fucking do it. So I'm always amazed by that shit. And then like, have you guys seen any of the weird deep fakes on like TikTok? There's like a Tom Cruise deep
The Tom
fake.
Cruise one is always the creepiest.
It's like uncanny. It's like the uncanny valley is here. It's sitting right atop the uncanny valley. You can tell it's not Tom Cruise, but god damn it looks good. It looks fucking.
Is that
good.
the one though where there's a guy who's like an impersonator?
No, it's so. I'm not sure
That's
who's
the thing where there's a guy who's
There-
an
there is-
impersonator,
yes.
and they use him for the deep face because he does the mannerisms and stuff.
It's possible they use him as the backdrop and then they layer on top of him, but I don't know. But
I don't know if it's like they take someone who has like similar features and then they like what's it called? They tweak it. You know what I mean? Like
possibly, yeah.
They get someone.
Well, it's like how they did fucking 11 in Stranger Things. They made her look younger. Like that's been.
I noticed
They made
that.
Paul Walker and fucking
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
from his brother's image.
because
But-
it's easy to work from likeness.
Likeness.
Yeah.
I do. Okay. What's your opinion? Because like to me, like I enjoy the Fast and Furious franchise. Do you think that it would be insulting if they like dropped another Paul Walker cameo? Is that like too much? Because I think it would be endearing.
They're
Like,
they're gonna do it.
I don't know
sure
if they
gonna do
will.
it. They
I
will
don't
do
know
it.
if they will. I think that like that was like that send off. You know, that was it.
Their family's like, how much?
yeah. That's the thing. Well, it's like, same as like rappers and like posthumous.
Put my
albums.
money on it that he, even if it's just like a kind of back of the head, he's with the family in the distance. He's gonna be in the movie.
Yeah.
I want him to
one
be.
of the
I
next two
I
or
want him to
whatever.
be.
Isn't
Yeah.
it fucked though? Like, who owns the rights? Like, when I was going back to Facebook and someone like uploading your likeness from your like content online, it's like, who owns that? Facebook?
Not
Like,
you.
put it-
Facebook now.
You put it on Facebook. You put it on Twitter. You put it on like Instagram. So it's open. It's on their platform. You probably signed a consent form like years ago when you signed up that they have the rights to your content. So
All
it's
your
like, do
shit.
they own your rights almost? Like you passed away, like then they have all the rights to use your likeness, right? Just like kind of like with like artists with their labels.
Like legacy albums and shit.
Yeah, legacy albums. Like who owns the rights? There's always fights. I think like wasn't there like huge fights with Michael Jackson too with like profits? Like who actually takes the bread? Is
Yeah.
it his family? Is it
Yeah,
the
it's his
label?
children.
Like
Yeah, there was another thing. This is recent, and I actually would recommend it if your brains could take it. Bob Ross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
There's
artist.
a documentary about
Saw that.
that exactly. Like he had I believe it was cancer, and he continued to paint, and it got worse from the oil in the paint, I believe.
No way.
And
Wow.
you know, he started dying, you know, more and more, but he continued to do it and put on like the most positive
yeah.
everything into it, right? Like everything into it. And everything was just like completely therapeutic for him, and he just loved that. And like even in his dying days, like he was partially owned by somebody else,
Whoever the
and they
fuck, yeah.
fought it and fought it and fought it, and like I'm pretty sure they still own the majority of all that is and was Bob Ross, even though he was suffering and dying, and they're just like fighting over him as he's dying.
Yeah, I think it was like
He was still alive.
And paint. Well, I think it was like his product too. Like he had like his own line of like paintbrushes and paint and all that. So they were like making money off of his brand and his name.
Yeah, and I think they tried to recreate it too after his death.
Yeah.
but nobody had that like.
Is he painting with lead paint?
Probably.
I
Jesus.
you know, I didn't exactly pick up what material it was, but it was something in the paint or something in the paint remover that really just wasn't helping.
Oh, he was
the paint
he was-
remover. He'd always
he
go
was
like,
huffing it in the
Yo,
back.
he used
Yeah,
to,
no,
like-
that you're
he would do
actually
that-
right.
he would do
Whatever.
like,
Yeah, that.
He'd splash it in some like fucking poison, and he would slap it around.
No, for real. That's actually it.
Yeah, he would slap
Every
it in
time
like
he
a
did
bucket
that.
of paint remover, and then slap it against the table like, and then like I don't know if they were saying like that was a
The
huge
fumes
cause.
or
The
whatever.
fumes and that chemical that he was always exposed around to was not healthy, because he was doing it he was painting like 8 hours a day more, right? Like
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. That's interesting.
Is it on Netflix or what is it?
Yeah.
I think so.
that's where I watched it.
I'll
You
give
did
a
watch
shot.
it?
Yeah, it
I
was
wanna
good.
watch
I want to watch the Elvis movie.
Yeah, I would watch
I
that.
do
There's
wanna
an
watch the
Elvis movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like
I wonder if it just ends with him on the shit or dead.
really?
I don't know. That's how he died.
Was it a heart attack?
Yeah, from like amphetamine use and shit.
I thought it was because Universal wanted to run him out of the system.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
That's a conspiracy theory. He's chilling in Cuba with Tupac.
I like late Elvis, you know, like late as fuck, like he's fat, he can barely sing.
You mean
Like
when he
he's
was,
like slurring his
33?
words and he's like on the stage. That's fucking hilarious.
No, but actually, how did he die? Was it a heart attack on the shitter?
Yeah.
Pushing way too hard.
he obviously used a ton of drugs.
Of course.
Yeah, he was like hella fucking amphetamine up.
Yeah, that's when they tell you that like oxy's like great for you. So you're taking fucking like 3 pills a day.
I've my algorithm, I don't know what I liked on TikTok, but I've been getting it's like weird ambient music, and it's like the screenshot format where it's just a bunch of pictures, and it's a bunch of pictures of old ads for like oxys and perks and shit, like from like the 90s or I don't know if it's perks or not, but like whatever old drugs, and it's like this will help with everything, and it's just like a happy family. It's like OxyContin. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Motherfuckers are so addicted to this shit.
It'll take the stress right off your shoulders.
It's terrifying.
Yeah,
Truly
literally.
terrifying.
Watch Dope Sick.
Is that a documentary? Or is it like
Just,
talking
it's
about like the
a kind of
amphetamine?
recreation of events
Is it
revolved
a
around OxyContin.
transition? Dope sick. Worth?
Yeah, it's good. Just shows how addictive it is, how people get fucked on it, how good people get fucked on it, how the corporation like just absolutely knew how bad it was and just fed it down everyone's neck and absolutely lied and paid people off and this and that.
Like alcohol today.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think alcohol has addictive properties?
What are you talking about? Everyone drinks.
Yeah, but like, okay, so obviously alcoholism
It's
is
the worst drug.
it's the worst drug.
I think
It's
so.
not the worst.
I think it shuts down your organs.
That's yeah, long-term usage. Yeah.
I think the fact that it is the only one culturally
Substance.
unanimously accepted
Sorry,
Yeah.
substance.
and every human just naturally wants to do drugs. And so because it's the only one that's like kind of accepted, that everyone just rams straight towards it.
Yeah.
Full tilt. And everyone, yeah.
I
and then
feel
people do
like
too much.
I feel like it's the one where it's the most manageable, and this is where I'm gonna go at.
This is Bruno's alcoholism defense tirade.
Well, no, because it's just like you can have a couple and be okay. It's hard to smoke a joint and not feel anything. It's hard to take Adderall and not feel anything. It's hard to take whatever drug, shrooms, Molly. It's hard to take such a small dosage to the point where it's like I can keep doing it. Whereas like alcohol, you can have like maybe 1 or 2 beers. Maybe you feel something, maybe you don't, but you can still go on functional, and it's easier to manage, right? Like
Yes.
in a sense, right? Like obviously there's like limits, and there's people who actually want to feel something, so they'll crush like 5 or 6, 7 or 8. But like it's for me, like I can have one and still be functioning. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do I feel anything from one? Probably not.
I don't think you do, no.
Not probably not.
I'll
but
flip-
like
flip
it's still
that
like
around
it
on you.
tastes good. I enjoy it. It's refreshing. So it's like manageable. If
Yeah.
I had a joint right now, I would be in a different state.
Depends how many puffs of the joint though.
But even still, like if you have like the whole point of smoking the joint is to feel something.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'll flip that around and you're saying that's why it is the most abused. Because you can just take a little.
Exactly.
And then you can start to want to take a little and a little bit more. And then
Yeah.
you're fine with that amount. And then you take a little bit more and a little bit more versus like a joint or something like mushrooms, right? It's like you do mushrooms, you're like, that was a lot. Not going to do that again for a while.
Yeah.
Like no one smokes a joint and just like takes 2 puffs and just like hopes they don't have anything hit them. Like I've never seen someone smoke a joint hoping it's like a cigarette where it's like I'm gonna smoke this joint and then feel nothing. I just want to have like smoke in my lungs like a cigarette.
Yeah.
Right. Like
yeah.
with a beer, you make like one or two, you're okay. Like and you're functional.
So, oh god.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, number one, it's government regulated.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like they went around the table 200 years ago and they were just like, how about this? And they're like, oh, well, that's just mysterious and sounds foreign to me. That's a no. We're going to put illegal for that. And it's like, everybody like getting fucked up though. And they're like, yep. And they're like, yeah. And we can regulate the shit out of that. It's like a inexpensive way to regulate that substance that they all agreed with. Like, oh, we can all still function. We're all still politicians here, right? I think everybody is. And the other thing is, it goes back to like the whole Nixon shutting down Schedule I drugs.
We're
like,
on drugs.
The whole psychedelia thing.
Okay, so before that, was it legal? That's what I never knew.
Well, the thing was, it wasn't like...
It wasn't known. It wasn't...
Yeah,
it was
like it's just like before there were serial killers, cop departments never communicated. Mm-hmm. Like between states, they never communicated until they started seeing larger patterns. Oh, a man wouldn't go to 3 states and kill people. Well, he did. And then they're like, oh, this is actually is bigger than we thought. These drugs have been widely praised in indigenous cultures for a long, long time. Sure. Right? And then all of a sudden they make it to the Americas and it's like, oh, the people are reacting differently. They don't want to work. It's mind expanding.
Yes.
And they're having all these original thoughts that don't exactly go along with
capitalism. And
yeah. Whereas alcohol brings you here. It's not exactly mind expanding. It's more contracting you into like this more locked state where you're just
mind numbing.
Yeah. And you're docile and it kills you faster. And
that's true.
And it's government regulated and it's cheap. And yeah, it's just, it becomes a social thing. So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's the way it is. And I think we've adapted with that.
Yeah.
Getting to this point. I think that's why people can function and also do this substance.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've adapted with it for so long, and it's been available to us for so long that here we are, coexisting.
Slightly evolving to fucking handle it better.
Yeah.
It's fucked. It's fucked to even think about any of that shit.
People used to drink alcohol more than water.
Really?
Because water was unsafe and alcohol could be...
Was distilled, I guess?
Yeah, and I learned that from Michael Pollan, where we talked about the last time.
Really?
Yep.
That's fucking insane.
Because water could be like potentially dangerous, but alcohol was like whatever, safe to
Triple
drink.
distilled.
Our grade 8 science teacher told us when he went to the Caribbean, instead of brushing his teeth with water, he brushed his teeth with beer because he knew at least it had no shit in it.
That's fucked.
I don't know anything about the water in the Caribbean, just so you know, but like...
It's probably the same as Cuba. It's not good.
I knew people that were Was it Eric who's drinking right out of the tap?
No, that was the Red Devil.
No, same with Eric. I think
in
Eric,
Jamaica?
Yeah, I think Eric was
I think the water was safe to drink out of the tap in Jamaica, though.
I don't think it was potable. Or at least there was a
That's a good
sign.
word. That's a big word.
I don't think there was a sign that said...
Potable.
I don't think there was a sign where it said, like not potable water. But, like, you would, like... I still brush my teeth with it because
I don't care. Yeah.
Because I spit it out. But I swear, I'm almost positive. No, it was...
At the resort, I think.
Maybe it was Mike. I don't know. There was someone in our group. There was 1 or 2 people in our group that were like, "Yeah, I'm just filling my water bottle at night with the tap water. I don't care, and I'm just drinking it." I'm like,
never.
just good luck until you get sick or get something in your stomach.
You
They're like,
poop your
whatever. I've drank worse. They're always like, "Oh, I've drank worse." Like, all right, you've drank bacteria, like, like
Guardia.
Yeah, just mix it with a little bit of mud. You know what I mean?
Where else would you be drinking from if not the tap?
They replace your mini fridge with like bottles.
Yeah,
there's bottles.
It's not like all of Jamaica is without fucking purified water.
No,
except in bottles. Obviously, they have the same kind of.
Probably not that good.
Well, I think too is like when you're in different places, water is different. Like there's different like minerals or things that are mixed with it due to like it's groundwater or how it's different. So your body reacts differently to it.
And you're different if you live there.
Yeah.
If your family's been drinking it for generations.
Your body like is resistant to like certain like germs.
Minerals.
That's why people get like little boosters when they go to certain countries,
Yeah.
Like in Peru, like every little village or little area had some sort of designated water.
I think that's like glacier water though.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what glaciers, but like somewhere, obviously, it's being pumped from somewhere that it's clean, that everybody's getting the water from that.
It could be. I could be wrong.
Source.
I heard in Paraguay they have Molly water. Like there's just Molly in the water.
And all the North Americans come and they're just like
rolling.
and all the locals are like, first time here.
Yeah. We just used to drink right off we would just like heat up the glacier water when I was in Patagonia doing the ice climbing. That was kind of cool. We get a pot. We would just scrape off some ice, heat it up, and then we would just drink water like that. It was pretty cool.
Those were the days.
Didn't you
Wait, that's
fuck a
joke,
goat
right?
in Patagonia?
What?
You haven't been in
I was in Patagonia for 3
Fuck
weeks.
a goat in Patagonia.
I took like a whole ice climbing like training like thing and did it for like a
I
bit.
can't tell if he's joking or not.
Yeah, he did. This is like 2016.
This was a long time ago.
This is
I
back when Bruno was cool.
Yeah, I just didn't
What?
do
I've
it.
never
He
seen
didn't
pictures
fuck
of
a goat.
I
this.
didn't advertise
okay.
it. That was like no, it was like in like I thought it was like a hipster. I'm like I'm just gonna keep
Zach,
it.
Zach
An ice
yanked it.
climbing.
Right away.
What?
Sorry.
What?
I was like, this is not
I knew you in 20.
Imagine if
No
Bruno's
way.
pranking all of us. He actually did go on a secret trip to Patagonia, a secret retreat to
Yo,
Patagonia.
I got Marcus good.
because I was like, okay, maybe before I like knew you guys, it's possible that he did that.
Now
but
that I
was
know
like,
Bruno,
no.
not a chance you at the fucking Patagonia.
yeah. But ever since then,
It
just
was
been
the
like
ice
a
climbing. I was like,
downward
Bruno,
trend.
ice climbing, not a chance.
But that whole story about the water was like getting you good. It
little
wasn't.
bit,
Yeah, I knew it.
Little bit
It
of
was
water.
so believable. Especially when I put like my like fucking psychopathic like acting face. Like I can lie about anything.
I love working every day.
No, I
Zach,
can't do that.
when can we tell your detached from reality story? Can we tell it now?
Yeah, which one's that?
It's literally one of my favorite stories, and I only think about it every so often.
What?
Come on.
There was one night.
Yes.
Oh my god, I know about this story.
Marcus doesn't know the story.
There was one night at Patrick's parents' house, and I'd gotten off work a little bit late, and we were chilling, playing cards, whatever, and like some friends were around there and everything, and we were looking at pictures from our recent trip, and we were drinking all that jazz, right? And I don't really smoke weed or anything like that, but somebody came with a couple of joints, and for some reason I thought that was a good idea after I had some to drink, and I like really went. I think I really went hard on it,
Yeah, we were like close to blackout drunk too. Like we were.
Yeah, and
Bad idea.
and everybody kind of says this every once in a while, and it always sounds so stupid when people say it, but like I obviously didn't remember a thing until like very, very late that night, but like I was way in deep. Like I had no idea what was going on, and my inner what do you call it? Under the tip of the iceberg, subconscious.
Yeah.
My subconscious was completely fueling my actions.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but I was just on the run, man. I was completely on the run. Like I don't know why, because I wasn't present. I don't remember this. I came to, I was like blocks away. This is the only time this has ever happened to me. But supposedly I had just started taking off running, like I was running away from something, and I was just not about it. And Pat had to chase me to like get me back. And he thought I was joking, obviously, at first.
Yeah, I
right?
thought it was like a bit or something.
Yeah, but it kept going and kept going. And I think eventually I started coming to and realizing that I was in, our neighborhood that we grew up in. And I started kind of conversing with Patrick as opposed to just running away. And what it was I was just like, I couldn't believe that this reality that we were living in was real. I know it sounds stupid. I know it sounds stupid because everybody says that, like, oh, and everyone's like, yeah, you're just like, you're fucking new here, right? Like, this, first time smoking weed, really cool, right? Like, it wasn't. It was not. I think I was like 23.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen to you when,
Yeah.
when you're like 23 years old. And to stop running away and to entertain this perspective that apparently I could not let go of in this cycle in my brain, Patrick said, you know what, you're right, you got it. It's not. This whole thing is a simulation this whole time, and I've just been your best friend your whole life, but I'm actually just like this robot that's been created to cater to your needs growing up.
You're the devil.
And simulate.
No, I was doing it to help him. This is
and
not-
simulate this. And I remember just like kind of just dropping my arms and being like, you know what, that actually makes a lot of sense because like I've been through some shit lately. And he's like, yes.
Like
Okay.
now the robot needs you to suck him off.
That's the part Zach doesn't remember.
And see, at this point, I don't know if it was just like a sense of comfort or a sense of understanding or what it was. But I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Like, look at how imperfect this world is. Like, it's obvious, you know.
Yeah.
Like who? Like I, you know. And then we walked home, and I still just didn't believe.
Yeah,
that
he
it
was like still flighty. He was still there was a couple times because it was like I could just tell that like you were just like, I mean I was fucking drunk too, so it's hard for me to like fully recall. But you were just like frightened. You were frightened by the world, frightened by existence. Just like a mild existential crisis, and I guess
think so.
And it's funny because I've had a similar trip where it's just like you get so into it, they're like this has to be like fake, like it's the simulation, nothing is real. But I was like, the only way I can comfort him is if I reinforce the fact that it doesn't matter because I'm here to like take care of you and I'm here, so it's fine. And like that was enough to like get you walking back. But you'd still sometimes give me like a little devious smirk, and you're like, and I'm like, it's fine, don't worry about it. Just go to bed. And then we got you in the house.
How do you even process that?
No.
Not yours makes sense. I could be in your seat, but how
Well,
you're drunk and you see him freaking out, having like
He was like my best friend, so I just like
No, but like, how did you think about that idea? Like, my first instinct, if he was freaking out like that, I would have been like, dude, you're way too high right now. Chill the fuck out. Like, you're way too stoned. But you were so drunk, but you still mentally
Ran
like
with it.
thought about like, it's probably a better, rather than resist it, let me, what's it called?
like reinforce it, but also comfort it.
Reinforce it because I know that will make him more comfortable. Like, I could never, like, that's like 5D chess. That is 5D chess.
Well, I mean, it's the mind, right?
It was the mind, and like I mean, I maybe would have been more equipped to like handle it better if I hadn't smoked weed at that time. I had never done it before.
Was that your first time smoking weed?
No, I still hadn't touched it back then, so I still hadn't tried it.
That was the last time.
And that was one of the last times.
This explains a lot then as to why you don't.
Yeah.
And honestly, like from kind of that point where we're looking at pictures of our trip, that's like the last thing I remembered. I don't remember going outside and smoking all this weed.
Yeah.
I was told later.
Yeah.
So I think I was just really drunk going in, and then made those choices to just reef on joints because fuck it, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next thing I remember is like 3-4 blocks away under a street light, looking at you and being like, "What'd you just say?"
Say it again, buddy.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And yeah, like even going to bed, I was like, okay, I think my mind kind of blew up a little bit in a big way. It was, I definitely don't hate the fact that it happened.
No.
I think it was like, I mean, I obviously didn't like learn anything crazy from it, but I definitely was having like to get through some shit. Like I went like on a trip.
Yeah, it was equivalent to like a shroom trip. Like you just got like way too, and like that, like it was funny. Zach did the same thing. He returned the favor like 5 years later because I took an edible at the Hawaiian. Was it the Hawaiian party or was it a different party?
Dude, it was my St. Patrick's Day party.
No, that was just drunk and going through shit. But that was like drunk more so. But it was when I think it was the Hawaiian party where I took an edible and I was just trapped in my room and Zach came by and said, "Put on some Yu-Gi-Oh! And pretend you're a kid again." And I was like, you know what? That sounds awesome. And I just sat in my bed and I was like, I couldn't even go to the party. I was like trapped in my room downstairs, like,
Dude, I remember that because
I was scared because there were so many people upstairs.
we were. I remember that because I was chilling. I remember that because I took a photo outside of your room with Johnny. And I remember before that, like popping into your room, and I think it was just like Shelby was comforting you, Zach was comforting you, Chris was comforting you. You were like, you could tell you were like trying to force a smile, but you were not having it.
Yeah, it was
you're like,
I'm in hell right now.
you were blitzed, and you're like, guys, it's all right, And Shelby was just like, Pat, like go to bed. Like Chris is like, yo. Crit, like Pat, like you're
playing.
good, bro. You're like, yo, was good, Pat, and like I could tell everybody was like, and I remember I like looked in and I saw that all happening and kind of like observing. I was like, nah, he's got this under control.
Not my problem.
I'm like,
Pat's just sitting there like,
yeah, and I think I popped in again, and you were right. I remember thinking you were like under blankets, and you were just like chilling, and I think you were like watching Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm like, he's probably having his own. I think someone was like, Pat is so fucking high right now. I was like, good for him.
It is crazy how like how high you can get when you don't think about it. Like if you like get a good high, it's good, but like you really can like pass that threshold and go in like shroom territory with weed.
No, edibles.
Edibles.
Demonize
like, you, man.
If you do a really strong edible, I have like the waves.
What's like the most baked you ever been off like an edible?
Never touched him.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I never
side story why you think about that. We were at Marcus's parents' house.
Is there a train coming soon?
No, we're good. We were at Marcus's parents over the weekend, and for Mike's birthday, I went to the store. We live in Canada, so weed is legal here. And I went to the attendant and I said, "Give me the strongest joint you guys have."
Oh my god!
And we smoke joints often, and they don't like you get high, but it's just a chill social high, nothing big. It was this $18 joint, one joint. It was a 1 gram joint. It wasn't that crazy. Mike lights it. Dude, I haven't been like that baked in a long time. That shit fuck. It was so. And then I was funny. I was high as fuck looking at the packaging because I was like, "What the fuck did I just?" I hit like 4 or 5 puffs of it. I'm looking at the packaging. It says distillate infused joint. I'm like, bruh. Like, it was fucking strong. So we should do that again sometime.
Who was it by? Do you remember?
Fuck. It's a green, and they have like a lime green logo with like a leaf weed.
You mean a weed company that's lime green?
With the weed leaf logo, he says.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to look that up.
Was it Edison? No, it wasn't Edison. I don't fucking know. I'm not sure, but it was.
That happened to me too.
What?
I don't know what joint I smoked before Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, Miles Morales?
Yeah, dude.
Fuck.
I remember we were outside the fucking, what's it called? The Cineplex, and Calvin had a joint, and my buddy, what's it called? I don't know if I should even say his name on the pod. I don't know if, because of work stuff.
Don't say the name.
Yeah, I won't say the name because I never know how it is with like people and their careers. But I don't give a fuck about Calvin. That guy's unemployed. But yeah, he's like, yo, I got this joint. I'm like, joint? Nice. We'll take 2 hits. We'll be fucking, this movie will go smoothly. We took a couple of hits. I thought I took a bucket. I was walking up the steps and I was like, holy shit. I look over, like we sit down. I remember looking at them. I'm like, I am fucking stoned. And that never happens to me with a joint. Never happens with me. I'm curious if it was similar to the one you had. Probably. And I was like ripped for a whole 2-hour movie to the point where I was getting a little high near the end. Like I could feel it coming down. I'm like, this is perfect. Like I'm going to fucking just like go home and I'll be perfectly fine. I'll be sober by the end of this movie. I remember I took a first step and I was like, I'm still fucking high. I'm like, there's no way I'm still high after like 2 or 3 hits from this joint after a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And
I eating and like.
I literally had to wait to drive. I had to wait till like I came, dude. It was literally like being intoxicated. I was like, it was like, holy fuck! It's never in my life hit me that hard. But I'm curious if it was similar to the one you had. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Mysterious joints.
You never know. Everybody's different.
What about you? What's your worst edible story?
But that's not an edible.
Or like mega baked.
Only when I was really young, I have those terrible green out stories. But that's more just like I had so much that I'm like blackout, incapacitated.
But never like mentally
but,
like.
I think one of my best skills, life skills, is that I've never had one of those
like detachment
moments. I've never had. I've taken high dose shrooms, whatever, high dose edibles, and I can keep it together mentally and be
you never got high enough.
It's a mess up there.
Take 5 grams of shrooms and tell me I haven't.
I will light you the most yellow bucket. And I will watch you inhale the whole thing and hold it and blow it out. If you don't have a fucking crazy high, then there's no way.
No, I've had crazy highs. I just
green out.
No, I just won't get like scared.
I don't get scared.
I'll just be very high and be like, "This is fucked," but I won't like.
You know what?
Freak out about it.
I think you're right. I don't think I've ever had. Oh no, lies.
Like the highest I've ever been was back in the day. Me and Matt used to make edibles all the time out of like our because I always used to hit the vape and
shake,
remember. Yeah. Actually, no, I think we weren't even using that. We were just using weed. We just baked it the way whatever. We made brownies. We go, okay, how much is in them? Matt's, I don't know, whatever, a lot. So we didn't know what dose to take. I'm like, how much did you eat? I ate 2 brownies. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll eat 1. because Matt's a horse and
Yeah.
fucking can just handle it.
He is a horse.
And that was probably one of the highest times I've ever been. And it was just like we went to our other friend's house, who we would go to all the time. We went to Manny's place, and I basically just couldn't talk. I just sat with his cat on my lap and just like, and I felt like I was in a fishbowl, and the world was just like, people's voices were like, no, and I was just staring. Finally, just like, but I wasn't like freaking out, just like.
And people are checking with you, like, Marcus, you
Yeah,
good? And you're just like,
people would
yep.
look over and just be like, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yes. I'm okay.
Yo,
that was pretty much how it went.
So don't talk to me.
Yo, I totally feel that. I know what you mean. I've had those where you just like, you're right. I don't have like a sense of fear or anxiety, but there was once where I did, and that's when I took a hit out of a dab, like a dab
Oh
rig.
shit!
True.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I challenged my limits there. I've battled everything: bongs, buckets, joints, edibles. What's a dab? Took one hit out of a dab. I started like counting my heart rate.
Really?
I was in the sofa watching this movie. I was absolutely obliterated. I don't know if it was because of the whole how it's done, where it like gave me some weird creepy vibes, and it was just like I remember being in the sofa like not petrified but like frozen, and I was just like all I could hear was like toof 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 toof. That's all I could hear was just toof toof. My heart rate. I'm like holy fuck. I'm like I am like nothing, like my mind can't even like catch on anything. We're watching a movie and it's like my heart is racing, everything is moving so quickly.
I'm just hear the blood in your ears.
Literally, it was like, and then I remember for like an hour and a half to 2 hours until I could finally like that roller coaster finally came down like Leviathan, and I actually slow down. I was just like, okay, I'm just high. I'm not gonna die today. I'm like, fuck.
See, I get like that when I have a couple drags from a joint.
That's terrifying. And
So
I
I
can
just
see why
don't
people don't
touch
smoke
it.
See,
Yeah.
I only got to that point when I went to like chasing the dragon of how high can I
How
get?
high can I get?
How high can I get? And then even edibles, like I don't even like now. I don't even get to that limit anymore. I don't think I've only touched that limit.
There's
Maybe,
no point in even trying to like touch her anymore.
Like-
Like, it's never like it's not good.
Like
that's
it's
true.
fun. Like
I'm down for the pod. I'm down
You
to
ha-
like bust down.
It's-
30 grams each.
the ones I like are the surprise ones. Like the ones where you like.
I don't want.
No,
it.
I love those ones because it's like I'm so controlled and managed. So it's like I'll smoke a joint or maybe I'll have a little bit of an edible, and I know it's milligrams, so I'm always like it's manageable. I'm high. I know how high I am. I can control it. But when someone's like, "Oh, here's this edible, let's have it," I'm like, "How many milligrams is in it?" It's just like, "Shut the fuck up, take it." I'm like, "Okay," and then it's just like it's not even that strong. You're like you won't even feel anything, and then you take it, and then you're like zoomed, and you're just like. Oh, fuck me. I'm here again, aren't I? And you just have to fucking battle through this 8-hour roller coaster of waves. Like, oh, really high? Okay, it's coming back down. Oh, no. Right back up. Oh, okay, I'm coming down. Nope, right back up. I'm like, fuck.
Yo, this weekend should we do a weed special?
What? Oh, like everybody gets stoned?
Yeah, like turbo stone. Like I'm stoned for like the majority of fucking episodes. It's not a big deal for me, but I want to hit like edible stoned. And
Well,
just
you
see
guys
the-
have fun. That's all I have to say.
Zach's just in the back. He took 50 grams, just like.
You have to.
I'll be at home. Safe.
You have to make sure you time it 30 minutes prior for Chris and Zach.
Yeah.
Just give them brownies.
But so I'm curious.
Wait,
You're
transition.
I don't know.
we're talking about edibles.
You for the fourth time you said we should do a high pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do gotta do a high pod.
And I was gonna ask Zach how you handle like shrooms, no problem.
Because you microdose.
Whereas I would like,
It's completely different.
yeah, but like I would compare low shroom dose to edible.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think it's completely different. I think one is, it makes my body buzz and like my heart rate go crazy. I think I must have some kind of internal anxiety from that past moment that made me feel like I was uncomfortable in my own skin. It was what's
Make you want to
new
take it
movie
off.
Miles Teller Thor where they give you drugs and you're sitting across from Spiderhead.
I haven't seen that. What?
Spiderhead. It's a
I heard about
pretty
it.
good movie. It's
Yeah.
not like amazing, but you'd love it. It's like a experimental drug facility in the middle of nowhere that is also a prison. It's like Holes. Remember Holes? You could either go to prison.
The greatest movie ever.
Who doesn't remember
So
Holes?
for all of you fucking Gen Z absolute goofballs out there, Holes was a book that you read in elementary school that eventually turned into a Shia LaBeouf movie, which was a great move.
Maybe.
And it was either prison or juvenile, whatever, juvie, or you could choose this camp in like New Mexico where you dug, where there used to be like a water-fed town for historical items.
If you forget to come back for Madame Zeroni,
She will steal your entire family's foreskin. What's how deep are the holes? What was the size of the holes?
It was
If you get this wrong,
It was the dimensions of the shovel.
Correct.
And that's why everybody and so everybody fought over the small shovel.
oh yeah,
Because you could get off early. So anyways, like that in the sense that it's either prison or this place, and obviously it's corrupt and everyone leading it is clearly money hungry or whatever. I imagine that's where they're going with the movie. Didn't finish it. But Miles Teller is in prison for he did something that ended up being something along the lines of manslaughter. And you have this like pack attached to your side that is refilled by Thor's assistant. I say Thor, but what's his name?
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's beautiful, right?
Yes.
Chris Hemsworth's lab assistant refills it every once in a while. And in this prison, you're free to do pretty much everything and you're assigned chores. So like, Miles Teller is on snacks, so he makes snacks for everyone. But you're pretty much, as long as you stay there, you have like a common room, you have your own quarters. You can visit the warden of this prison, which is Thor, in his own quarters. Like, it's a very free-flowing place. But when you're scheduled to go in for these drug experiments, you are subject to these drugs. And one is like, they can, from their phones, give you a certain dose up to a certain point. Like one where you're completely attracted to the person in front of you to the point at which you just like fuck madly until it's over. And, they both say, I love you. And they're like, experiment was a success. We have a love drug. And then there's another one. I forget what it's called, but it makes you feel complete paranoia and fear in your own skin. And like they're crawling up against the wall. They're running. It made me feel like that moment. And I feel like Miles Teller takes on this like PTSD from that and thinks it's completely inhumane. And, obviously being a prisoner for something that was a shitty mistake, but still manslaughter. Obviously the audience is like, oh, but Miles is the protagonist and he's right. It is inhumane. It's like, dude, it's a prison. Like they can do whatever the fuck you want. You signed up for this, right?
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about cannabis, I think. And I want to debunk it, but then again, I don't want to, I have no draw to go back to it and tango with it because I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because of that, or at least I think it's because of moments like that. Like, I think like the last time I ever tried it was years ago, but like I remember laying in bed just trying to sleep it off, which is probably not the thing to do, and just vibrating and like I'm like, am I peeing right now? Like, and just like my heartbeat like crazy, and I'm just like, this is horrible. Where like with something like mushrooms, I feel like it's more of a mind expanding thing. I feel like I'm more clear sighted at times as opposed to just like peripherals buzzing, just like, yeah, whatever, like I'm not like that. I'm like, oh man, this is great. This is amazing. It's like a flower. I'm like, oh, this is just breathtaking. You've never seen anybody stoned on marijuana standing there being like, guys, stop what you're fucking doing.
Yeah.
This is going to change your life right now.
That is true.
Come over and check this out. And everybody, like, that's such a staple. Like, what a goofball, what a stoner, but it's so true. It's like different. It's like eye opening.
Yeah.
And it's more of of an experience. And I guess there's a lot more, I forget what they call it, but there's a term for like preparing yourself for it. Like I make sure there's nothing planned. No one's going to call me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can be inside. I can be outside. I'm not preparing for it. Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good idea. But it's more like, I want to be able to freely roam. I don't want to be like with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be on my own, but I want to be able to do both things.
Yes.
What's the most you've done?
I don't know. I don't really.
You just eyeball it. You just kind of.
Yeah,
That's actually crazy.
But not a lot.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot. I'm not really drawn to the whole hero dose thing either because, like Pat said,
I thought you had done.
it is messy up there.
So
Not exactly willing to hop in 2 feet first right now.
Fucking Leviathan. My brain's
Am I the
Leviathan.
only one who has gone
Yeah.
into the depths?
Okay, so
Probably so.
okay, describe to us like what a hero dose is. Like what did you feel? How was it different from 1 gram? How is it different from 2 grams?
Oh,
What?
it's definitely like exponential.
Like, okay, do your best to like do it justice. I'm actually
Well,
curious.
I kind of said that other day. Remember, I sat in front of just like me and Matt were both at his whatever kitchen or house, and just like he's over there frolicking in the yard, and I'm over here, and I know he's over there, so we're kind of cool, we're chill.
Yeah.
We know there's
That's what I like about
there's
it.
not too many.
We're not
people
hanging out.
around.
We're not alone. We're just
But I
doing our
sat just
thing.
like on a lawn chair looking at like a brick wall, and in each brick was just flashing neon lights, like going through all the colors, and there were little Play-Doh men like acting out like a little scenario, and it was mimicked in every single brick. And so like just,
That is
you're
insane.
Seeing, yeah, the visuals are insane. I remember seeing like just looking at the ground, but Matt said he saw a similar thing where it looked like Google Street View, like just hieroglyphs were like zoom overlaid out over like patterns over everything. I remember seeing like neon shapes slowly moving out the wall, followed by trails of what looked like ants, like just snaking up, and it's just a plain wall.
Yeah,
So, like
yeah.
you're seeing a ton of shit that isn't there.
I do know what you mean with that. For
But I'm
sure.
still seeing the wall, and I'm still seeing everything that is there. There is just overlays.
I find
everything, and everything is warping.
I find it's like when you like walk away from a moment like that you're like, holy crap, well that was something, right? And then you're like somewhere else. It's like if you're moving at a constant pace, looking at something similar for a while, it starts to like manipulate and start to do that where you start to see different things. You know, a lot of people argue that it's like, oh, well, you're just seeing more that you wouldn't see because our minds are driven to survive. You know, like we see Aldous Huxley wrote a book called
I'm listening
Doors
to it
of
right
Perception.
now. I
Yeah.
started it yesterday.
The Doors named their band after this. But it was back before Richard Nixon demonized these substances. You know, the ones that, you know, you say shrooms and every mom in the neighborhood goes, I wonder if my kids are home. Before that, and it was purely experimental, and it was in universities, it was professors that were doing it, right? And it was like people that were poetic, like Huxley. Like when you read it, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about right now? But it was him on a heavier dose of peyote.
Peyote or mescaline.
Mescaline. I read it years ago. But like he's describing like the Buddha at the base of the garden, stuff like that, and it's just like it was literally just him in his office and people recording his experience and how he noticed that right angles weren't necessarily important to him. Time definitely not, and everyone can resonate with
time
that.
is fucking.
Time is.
Let's go deep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Okay,
wanna do
can we
it,
do
guys.
it and record it, or is everyone too scared to
No,
record it?
nothing. What? You don't want to record it.
I
It'll
think-
just look like a bunch of
but I think that's,
I think it would be
that's-
abandoned within minutes.
yes immediately.
Everyone's
Everyone's
like,
left it on a
Or I
tripod.
think we would all become like anxious of the camera.
100%, because you're supposed to
You
be
would
something else in
understand-
front of the
you
camera.
would understand that camera is not just a little camera over there. That's like a portal and connection to like.
Yeah, but
the
that
outside
could be
world.
cool.
It could be, but the thing is, right now, our minds are minimized to a survival and reproductive sense of purpose.
Right.
Where when you're under the influence of that, all of the hunter-gatherer, sex-driven, protect yourself shit becomes stripped away. And that's the exact reason that you can stand in front of a flower and be like, this is everything right now to me. And this wall, this brick wall with texture that pops out to my face is everything to me right now, and nothing else matters. And it's fantastic. And if that's bad, I don't know what the fuck is.
I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's great. So I do wonder, like, have you ever like read like crazy trip reports where someone's done like what's like the most you've heard of someone doing, and like what was like their outcome?
Sorry, I meant if that's bad, I don't know what's good.
Correct.
I don't think it's. I think it's great. I don't think it's horrible.
No, yeah,
And I
got
you
the
know,
context.
obviously, it's not something you abuse either.
no,
I don't-
you can't-
I
I don't think
don't
you can really.
Encourage that. You can.
I mean, I guess you can abuse anything.
abuse
but that'd be
anything.
impressive, yeah.
There was one guy who went on Rogan. I think it's like Paul Stamets or something,
Hey,
or maybe it
Stamets.
was somebody else who told a story about how they took like just handfuls and handfuls, and it was probably like 10 plus grams, and then he ended up climbing a tree to a very high branch in the middle of a lightning storm, naked or something like that.
Holy
That's the story.
fuck.
That's Stamets. He's a genius now, but at the time he had a stutter,
and it went away.
a really bad stutter, And in that moment, he was like, I'm going to die. Like, I'm in this tree. I'm being blown around. I'm going to die.
So what's damn? It's like
Yeah. And he was like, okay, if I live, what am I going to take away from this? What am I going to change? And he's like, I don't want to stutter anymore. So he like said it to himself over and over. I'm not going to stutter anymore. I'm not going to stutter. Like, I'm going to kick this stutter thing. And the other thing about this substance and many other myco substances is it rewires your brain if you allow it to. Like, you got to remember, it's the only other kingdom. It's the closest other kingdom out there. And I mean like animal, plant, fungi, bacteria. It's the only other, it's the closest genetically to what we are. And
because it's alien, bro.
it's truly something along those lines, but it works with your brain, and it's shown positive results.
Yeah.
Like good stocks.
So yeah,
Good stonks.
so yeah, he
Stonks.
stopped stuttering after that.
That's impressive.
Well, it's just something otherworldly.
It's fucked.
The other thing I wanted to say just quickly, other cool visuals. I always like save just random cool like digital art because the one time like that time all we did was just put it on the screen on like a computer screen and go through it, and it like every single one just comes fully to life. And so like I remember it was just literally just like a nice interior of a home with like lots of plants in it, and it just felt like the light from that room was shining into the room we were in. It felt like I could see the vines like coming through the computer screen, and that looked like a window into that room. And I just watched, and it felt like I was chilling in like a peaceful sunlit like greenery room, even though we were in Matt's disgusting degenerate Kitchener house.
Light is a lot. Light does a lot when you're in that state. Like when I was in like a room and there's like a light on in the other room, then that light's turned off and then this light's turned on, you're in like a whole different world.
Yeah.
You're like moving to another room and you're like, what the hell? And it's like a room you've been in, you live in.
Yeah, environment is everything. Environment is totally everything.
So I can tell from this conversation that Bruno doesn't really get visuals from this kind of experience.
I've
He's never gone
never
hard.
gone that high. Yeah, like I've gone high where it's like I'm like tipping toeing on
It's
like
that edible. You giggle. You got the crazy giggles.
crazy giggles. I'm high. Things. It's like it's almost like it's definitely like I can definitely feel a difference, but I haven't reached that like visual where
Are you
like
down?
huh?
You down next time?
What are you guys afraid of? I will guide you. I'll be the shaman.
shaman.
Come
I
on.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. I've been
changes.
in states where like I'm like at peace. I know what you're talking about, like the at peace. You're in your own world. You kind of like have moments, but I've never had that like full like what you were explaining, little guys walking on bricks.
Yeah.
Like I've never had that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have any visual experiences.
Really?
Yeah, I know a couple people that just they don't really see anything. It just becomes like more of an emotional thing.
Maybe that's what it is.
Because the other thing is it pulls up subconscious stuff that
Yeah.
it's working through. Like the other joke is that it's a psychiatrist. It's a $5 psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Because it works through your shit. And some people are like, I had a bad trip and that was horrible and I'll never do that again. It's like, no, it was just what you needed to actually feel, and you've been pushing down for this long, and now you're probably over it, aren't you? And it's like, well, yeah. Like I feel better after that.
Yeah.
It makes you sit with certain things that you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, confronting.
I think it's good.
The demon.
Yeah, there's nothing bad I can say about it. That's a fucking fact.
No,
And I'll also apologize because you can probably hear all of the same things that I just said on 90% of podcasts out there. So apologies, but
Good
They want to hear ours.
Well, we're on
Yes.
audible.com, so like it's not an issue if they want to listen to this.
Thank you to the sponsor, audible.com, for sponsoring this episode. All right, I guess we can kill it there. Thanks everyone for watching episode 28. I hope you have a good day. Or if you're doing shrooms, I hope you have a terrible trip. Nightmare.
I'll say that. Nightmare.
Nightmare, 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 nightmare.